In America, this country is saturated with white female teachers. In fact, there's entirely too many of them. And it has never been a good thing for the Black community. Well, there is a principal that is now looking for more Black teachers to hire. And this is something we need to see across the country. But we know for obvious reasons why we are not seeing this in the US, because how do you keep a group behind and sabotage? You keep sabotaging them with these white female teachers. That's the only reason why they're in place, to keep us from ever catching up to them. It's not, it has nothing to do with you having a low IQ and not smart. They need to keep you in a certain state so that they can look smarter and wiser. And it's actually failing in this country, ladies and gentlemen. And maybe I'll do a separate video on that. It's failing. It's failing because now we are seeing a lot of these college cheating scandals coming out. We are now seeing how they are getting their work done by other people, and they're not doing their own schoolwork. So it's literally imploding on them. Okay, it is imploding on them. So that's a whole different issue from this. So revolutionary principle goes all in on quest for more Black teachers. Well, good for him. I think this is definitely is what is definitely needed in this country. On a misty October Tuesday, Sharif L Miki sat in the gymnasium of the North Philadelphia Elementary School that had been decked out with bright lights and sleek microphones. He sat in the next to last row on the edge of his seat as videographers darted around the room to record the event. Tobias Harris, the Sixers star forward, was announcing a pep rally like fanfare. The first 9 organizations to be recognized in the philanthropy, by his philanthropy, it was the Tobias Community Draft. The organization in line to receive money were told to show up, but not how much they would receive. El Miki waited as one by one, in ascending order of amounts. Harris announced his choices. He started at $25,000, raising to $50,000, then $75,000. As names were announced, the amount kept increasing: $100,000, $200,000. Soon, there was just one recipient left: the Center for Black Educator Development, an organization El Miki founded in June after 26 years as a teacher and principal in Philadelphia. As lights flash, Harris announced that the center, or CBED, was his top draft pick, receiving $300,000 of the $1 million he gave out that day. It was a huge coup for an organization that is only a few months old. I'm blown away, El Miki said in accepting the symbolic oversized check. El Miki has become a leading voice in the country advocating for more importance of diversifying the nation's teaching force, which has become more white as the nation K through 12 enrollment edges towards becoming majority students of color. Exactly. 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 You have a changing demographic in America, which I think this was always the case, ladies and gentlemen. And you know You know how I feel about these things if you've been following me all this time. We don't need you. There are certain positions these folks got to stay in order for them to feel like they're in control. Teaching and policing and just the overall criminal justice system. They want to inundate themselves in that, and they don't want to relinquish it because then they feel like they're not in control. But they're going to have to relinquish it because their numbers are declining. They don't realize everything in this country must change. You're not going to have enough people to sustain all of these things, even politics. You watch as we start rolling through the decades, the seats these politicians are in right now are going to become browner and browner. The teachers are going to start becoming browner and browner, and so is the police force. They're not going to have the numbers to keep all of this up. It is inevitable. That is going to happen. There are already more melanated students in America than there are white students now. Fewer white kids in America. They can't keep all of this up, ladies and gentlemen. It is impossible if you don't have the numbers. It's impossible. And they know it. That's why they're acting out against us the way that they are, because deep down inside, they know this. And why do you think every time these mass shooters have a manifesto, they are always talking about their declining population and all of those manifestos? Yeah, it's bothering the hell out of them. They can't keep this up. They can't. He is traveling the country in a quest to entice young African Americans into teaching and telling them that they will be building on a proud history of Black education and community leadership. He is working in a state that has one of the worst disparities between the demographics of its teaching force and its student population. Yeah, because you got tons of white female teachers and you got a high number of melanated students in these cities across America. There is no need for it to be that way. But how do you jack up Black education? You fill it up with a bunch of white female teachers. They will keep it all messed up, keep this, students at a disadvantage, be in the classroom whining about petty shit that don't matter, complaining about the student's hair. That's what you will get out of them. Their only goal is to make sure you don't catch up to their children. That's the only reason why this education system is flooded with her. It's not for any other reason. Across the country, according to the National Center for Education Statistics, 18% of teachers in 2015-2016 school year were non-white. Its most recent data, and just 7% of teachers were African Americans. Now, why is that? That doesn't even make any sense. It makes a sense. It makes sense, ladies and gentlemen, if you have an agenda to sabotage a community, then it makes sense on why they only have 7% in the whole country of teachers that are African American. They have an agenda to keep sabotaging us when it comes down to education. That's why it's this way. And that a share that's declined. Okay, so 7%. So in 2000, there were 8%. So yeah, they're right, it declined. In Pennsylvania, as of 2018, less than 3% of teachers are African Americans, and barely 1% are African American males. So they've literally shut us out of teaching in this country. They shut us out intentionally. But I respect what this principal is doing. At least he's trying to turn this whole thing around. It's not easy to do these things on your own. I wish there were other people joining him in doing this across the country. I don't think he should be out here doing this alone, you know? But I understand it definitely is something that our children must see. We must see teachers and principals and guidance counselors that look like us out here. And like I said, it's going to become impossible for them to continue this up because their population is declining. And look, if you remember, I did a video about a month ago. For the first time in America, the people entering the workforce between the ages of 18 and 25 were more brown and black than white. And that was this year, 2019, for the first time. So those changes are happening whether these folks like it or not. And it's going to change in education as well. Please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.